dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. What's up? It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got a great show for you this evening. How do I know? Because I said so. We typically do. We're going to give you solutions to the problems that are simply having problems in the world today. In backstage, we've already got people riled up, ready to go. We're going to be talking about how to avoid toxic relationships. It's been a very much of a key topic in these YouTube streets, Instagram, wherever you may be listening. There's always a conversation about toxicity. So, but before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. And then every guest that comes up, make sure you go check them out because they got something good to say. So our question that we have starting off is, what's the number one quality you look for in a partner? What's the number one quality you look for in a partner? And I'm sure she ready. They don't even know which one I'm talking about. Welcome to the stage, Miss Ash in the
I'm ready.
What's up?
I'm nothing much. Let's see. The quality I look for is transparency. Like, how much are you willing to show your authentic self? Because I don't like dealing with masks. I mean, I barely wear makeup, and when I do, it's really on special occasions because that takes a lot of time. And I don't want you to take time into building a fake character for me to deal with. And I have run into that. That's the only reason why I say that is because people think they know what you want instead of getting to know you to know what you actually want.
So you want the truth up front?
Yeah, true. Give me the truth because if I know you, that means I don't have to walk on eggshells about certain things. If I know saying you're stupid or something like that, that's a trigger because it may have happened like when you were little, somebody may have called you stupid. No shots, no pun intended to nobody. But if I know that about you, we'll avoid certain words. Okay, you're a little ignorant today, so saying okay, a little stupid. But hey, whatever. I digress.
I'm interested to see if anybody respond to you about that particular statement. But we gonna get to we gonna go to the next one. Hey, with none other than the one, the only, Mr. Antagonist himself. Prototype in the building. I was just kidding, but you are sometimes, bro. You know it.
Can't even help it. I can't. I don't even know what I'm doing it. But no, it's been a minute since I've actually had this question. Right, maybe like 15 years off the game at this point. But it was probably cooperation. You know what I mean? Like once I realized somebody was cool, we're not going to trip about situations going on, or somebody that can go with the flow of whatever the day is coming with. So cooperation has to be the number one thing I always look for.
That's a bet. That's a bet. Cooperation. I like that one. Hey, and then you already know, hey, I would say that she is in this space and doing some different things about trying to talk to women about what it's like to be a wife and the things that we have not or was not taught to be a wife from the women's perspective. None other than it's me.
What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
The answer to my question now, like the answer to this question for me now is the fear of the Lord. Like if he ain't scared of God, you know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing to do with him because, and I mean that in the most respectful way, because if he's accountable to God, then I don't necessarily have to worry about things, him being stupid or doing stupid things. per se. So might as well be the fear of the Lord for real.
Okay, that's a bit. Appreciate you. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody want to say something, but we're gonna bring
Oh yeah,
everybody.
no. Prototype want to say something. His face was like,
We gonna wait. We gonna wait. We gonna bring because I'll be Pentecostal in this space. So we gonna hold on for a moment. Hey, none other than we gonna welcome the very white of the YouTube streets. Also, I would say somewhat of a Socrates, Mr. Lost in Translation.
Good evening.
What's up, honey?
Good evening, sir. How are you this evening?
Good, bro. Good to see you.
Good. Listen, one of the things I look for is empathy and understanding. A non-toxic person shows empathy, understanding, and compassion. They care about your well-being and they can put themselves in your shoes. You don't ever want to get into a situation where they just really don't care nothing about you. Just whatever it is they can get out of you, and that's it. You want somebody to be able to understand exactly what you're going through, and you want to be able to do that for them as well. Because after all, man, life is long, and you want to be able to make sure that you're with somebody who actually cares. So that's my main thing: empathy and understanding. Mute must have got your Uncle Dad.
It automatically put me on mute. My bad. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you for being here as usual.
My pleasure.
And then none other than I've been knowing this young man for a minute. I call him the young OG. None other than Mr. Trio AC.
Oh boy, what's going on, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing, man. Amazing. Appreciate you having me. Panelists, what up, baby? Y'all good?
What's happening, Troy?
I love to hear it. As far as the quality, man, I think first thing come to mind is selflessness. I think if you have somebody that's selflessness, that opens the door to everything else that you're gonna need from them. Whether it's them being held accountable, you being prioritized, them putting value in things that you may like and they may not necessarily care too much for. But when you move with selflessness, that opens up the door for everything else. The communication is easier because it's not, you are what you being selfish, so you're not really wanting to, accept what they or trying to hear them out the way that you may should. And I think there's a lot of people that go into relationships lacking selflessness, even though they claim to have it. And one thing about a relationship is, like I always say, is going to put a magnifying glass on who you really are, better than anything that I've ever seen. So yeah, selflessness, man.
That's a good one. I think the one that I would say that embodies mostly what all of you have said is Christ-centered. Christ-centered meaning that they are going to be selfless. They're going to think of me as well as think of themselves. They're willing to follow the plan that I put in place. And also being able to give, not necessarily guidance, but also some thought behind what it is that they see me doing as well. So I think of a woman that's able to say, you know what, I know how to follow Christ, so I know how to follow you. That would be one of the number one things for me, right? And everybody has something different, but there is, I think, an outline of what we all want, and that's for people to be themselves, right? And so that way we can move accordingly, as opposed to dating your shadow or your ghost instead of dating the person who you are. And I think that's what we're going to get into. That's going to help us with the conversation this evening. So the first question, so that we can kind of get a context on the topic, is what is an item you would describe as toxic? What is an item that you would describe as toxic? Okay, and we'll start with Jamie.
Like a household item or just anything in general?
Anything in general, just not people.
Okay, bleach. Bleach is toxic. You can't ingest bleach. I mean, it cleans, but it's also toxic at the same time. So
Okay, got you.
that's
Bleach.
my answer. And then let's go with ash. Yep.
You think you cute. You gonna take my doggone answer, dig up call on me. I'm gonna go with the next household cleaning product. Comet. The old one where you sprinkled, you can digest it. Yes, it's gonna clean some stuff. That's how you know you're really cleaning and scrubbing. But that powder getting in your mouth is something wrong. Too much of it is a bad thing. Next person, Prototype.
I'm gonna go with alcohol. Although you can have a good time, you were killing yourself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with that.
You're lagging, or is it me?
No, I'm probably lagging.
Okay, bet. Who you got going next?
Let's go with loss.
I'm going to say ammonia, man. You know, it cleans real good, but you can't be around it too long. You know, you're going to get choked out. So I'm going to say ammonia, man. That's real toxic. And Trill, it's on you, my guy.
I'm gonna say Sage. Being on social media, man, there be some of the most toxic people in the world. They be lighting Sage and just letting it all smoke around the house, trying to get the demons and get the negative energy out the house. Meanwhile, you are the demon and you are the negative energy. So I think, you know, it's not a coincidence that so many people gravitate to Sage. So that's what I'm going with.
That threw me off. I didn't see Sage coming, bro. I didn't. I would say if I had to choose something of an item that is toxic, I would say the first thing that comes to mind is gas, right? Gas. I mean, the reason why, but it's toxic, but it's good for an engine, or it's good for cooking, or it's good for, you know, if you're trying to utilize it to barbecue or grill. However, that's not something that you want to intake, right? However, even though these elements of that we talked about as being toxic, I want to understand to some degree, why have we now talked about toxic relationships? Like the word has been transitioned to be connected to relationships. And so my question to y'all is, do you believe that currently how we look at it is toxicity or toxic? Is it universal? Or is it just a United States type of thing as it relates to being toxic? All right. And we're going to start with loss. Do you believe that toxic is universal?
You know, anytime somebody says the word toxic, I'm always going to have my red flag up, man, because 9 times out of 10, when somebody says that somebody's being toxic, you know what it sounds to me? It sounds like that other person is just not doing what the other person wants them to do. You know what I'm saying? Because in any other situation, you know, it's fine. But the minute that somebody asks them to do something and they don't feel like doing it, then it's toxic. So I think it's probably universal, you know what I mean, across the world. It doesn't have to be something that's here in America. It could be abroad. You know what I'm saying? Anytime somebody says, hey, I don't want to do what you want me to do when you want me to do it, then all of a sudden you get labeled toxic, you know?
Okay.
I'm going to roll with Prototype this time.
I don't know. I lost the question because of what you said.
Is toxic universal? Because it's used a lot. So what do you think about as it relates to being a universal term?
I would say yes, it is universal. It comes off different when the toxic person is calling somebody else toxic. But yeah, I would definitely say it's a universal term.
Okay.
So I want to say there's a standard for what's considered toxic, but like I said, when somebody toxic says somebody else is toxic, then it blurs the line a little bit.
So you think that the person that's saying they're toxic, that somebody else is toxic, that's the toxic person?
Yeah, generally, yeah. So if a person like, oh, this person is toxic, they're probably the toxic one, because that other person is really probably trying to work it out, being compassionate, be empathetic. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying they're toxic, so it's a weird game. So you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you can't be the one that say it first, type deal. Like, you know what I mean? So
no worries, I got you. I just wanted to kind of set the stage for sure. Who you got?
Let's go with Trill.
Toxic is definitely universal, but I think that's because it's so subjective. You know, going back to what bro said earlier, you know, it's simply a lot of times coming from just somebody doing something that you don't like, and it may be right for you, or they may be telling you the truth, or they may be dealing with you in a way that you open the door for them too, but because you don't like the outcome, now that person is toxic. No. That person been who they was when you first met them. You was letting stuff slide that shouldn't have been let slide, thinking that you was gonna get a different outcome than you got. But unfortunately, it went the other way. So now that person is toxic. No. You're toxic. You are toxic because your boundaries wasn't set firm enough. You toxic because your self-esteem and your confidence is not where it need to be. So that's why these people gravitate to you. So I think it's definitely universal because it's so subjective. In
You
my
just blame the victim?
Of course. Of course. Because more times than not, the victim had way more culpability in the outcome than they or the people around them are willing to admit. And we got to stop giving people a pass just because the other person had brought the straw that broke the camel back. No. It was a lot of shit that you enabled, a lot of stuff that you opened the door for that got us here. And that got to be acknowledged. If not, you're going to continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. So that's just my take on it. We're going to go with Ash.
I agree with everybody. It is universal. And the toxic pointer is probably the one that's toxic. I've been labeled as toxic, so hey, whatever. To each his own. You either take the drug or not. You either want to get better or not. That's the way I look at it. Because either way, you going to move on.
Have you ever called somebody toxic?
No. They always call me. Who said it? They beat me to the punch. They beat me to the punch.
So you was thinking it. You just didn't say it.
Here you go. I tell you all the time, I'm not with these new age terms. Look here. You bad for me, you bad for me. I'm finna walk away. But when you call me toxic, it's like, dude, how I'm toxic if I'm just asking you to do something that can benefit both of us? It's here you go. As my old supervisor used to say, it's a general request. It's just a general request. Either you're gonna do it or not. And to me, I feel like everybody wants to take these new terms that we done learn from the psychologists and wrap up in them and say, you're toxic, you're hurting my feelings. Baby, level up with your feelings.
Okay, level up with your feelings. Who you got?
Jamie.
Yes, it's a universal term. And that's all I'm gonna say. Everybody else said everything. So it's kind of like if I say anything else, it's just redundant and I'm just kind of wasting airtime. So let's go. I want to be first next time though, so I can say something.
Oh, so now you want to be first. Like you always talk about, don't call on you first. Okay. I got you. You're gonna get the first question. So I would say, based on what I've seen, yes, toxic is a universal term because of how people see the world, right? People want to be able to say that somebody else is doing something wrong. That's what it seems like, what I see. And so people don't want to say, you know what, it was me that was the issue, as opposed to just saying it's you. Because all of us could. What's crazy, this is the crazy thing to me, that people will say, everybody's not perfect, I'm not perfect. But then when somebody points out your imperfection, then it's a problem. Like it's just baffling. It's just baffling to me. So yes, I believe it's a universal term. Even when I lived in India, it was the same thing, right? People would point out that somebody else was doing something when it's clearly them that's the problem, right? So that's kind of like channeling where we're going to be going and talking about how to avoid these toxic relationships, seeing as though that it's a universal term. This is a conversation that everybody can I believe learn from. So with my next question or topic, I want to ask the question, how do you, I'm sorry, I apologize, I missed it. What does a toxic relationship look like? What does a toxic relation look like? And we already know who we going to first. We ain't got to guess. We already know, right? Do I need to? Okay.
No. And I'm not ready, but I'm gonna give what I think a toxic relationship looks like. James. I want to go first because I want something to say. I want to say something, right? Like, is that being toxic right now? Am I being toxic in this situation?
Yes, you're being right. Toxic.
It feels like
example. Ready. All right.
You're being toxic.
You literally said,
yeah.
Can I go first?
I meant it too. And I'm gonna ride this out.
Around the word toxic, just so you know.
Yeah, I just wanted like this good example.
Go ahead.
No, toxic in a relationship looks like, well, really what I just did, but it's also the ability to be selfish. It's two individuals who come in with the ideal of what they want and not willing to compromise on either end. So that's what I've seen usually happens, is a power struggle, because somebody came in lying and another person came in lying, and then they want to kind of manipulate each other into being who and what they want to be, what they want them to be. Do you get what I'm saying? So that is my basic definition of a toxic relationship. And then we'll go with the new person that pulled up, Mr. Viral.
Mr. Viral. What's up, sir?
What's the deal, man? Can you repeat the question for me? I came in on the tail end of that.
Hey, absolutely. It's what does a toxic relationship look like?
It got many forms. I would describe it as anything that's not conducive to the mission. So that could be from a male perspective or the female perspective. If y'all in a relationship and y'all not on the same path, and what she's doing is counterproductive to the mission of what he's trying to lead her to, that's toxic. If he's leading her to things that's counterproductive to success of the relationship, that's toxic. Like, we only just think of drama, like, oh, he's cheating, she's cheating. There's all different type of forms of toxic. There's no one label on it. So I would say anything that's counterproductive to success to your relationship is toxic for sure.
Anything that's counterproductive is toxic. That's a good thought. Who you got going next?
Man, let me pass it off to my boy Trill, man.
Bet. Man, what's toxic? I think toxicity in a relationship looks like a relationship that's one-sided. I think it's a lot of people that get into relationships to where the leverage is so much on one side that the other person is trying to basically fight to prove themselves instead of them coming into it both feeling privileged to be there. I think that's where most relationships go wrong at, ironically, before they even begin. If both people don't feel like it's a privilege to be there, y'all have no chance of the relationship surviving, because the one with the leverage is going to move like that, whether it's subconscious, because I feel like you're not going nowhere anyway, right? So I could do what I want to do. I can neglect, I can, not value you, not prioritize you, whatever the case, and I know you're not going nowhere. But the whole time, ironically, from the other end, instead of like realizing that and seeing that this person ain't really valuing me that way and just walking, they got an urge to kind of prove themselves, prove that I belong here. So I'm gonna go harder, even though I'm not getting what I want in return, because they just ain't seeing all parts of me. You know what I'm saying? Or they done been through a lot. You get to making excuses for why they not giving you what it is that you need. So it's gonna be a relationship where you're gonna forever be trying to prove yourself, even with men going into relationships with insecure women. To where it's like now it's a full-time job for me to repair your self-esteem. That's toxic. You are fighting a uphill battle because the leverage was off before the relationship even started. So that's what I would label it, man. We're gonna go to loss.
You know what does a toxic relationship look like? It comes in many forms, but the main thing that I can think of is manipulation, man. It's always trying to leverage a position to get exactly what you want. It can come in many forms. It can come in the silent treatment, withholding sex, you know what I mean? And withholding provision, ignoring the other person, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Any type of manipulation that goes on into the relationship is toxic, because you're not building trust in relationship when you do stuff like that. You know what I mean? You're always name calling and all this other stuff. You have somebody, you're the toxic one. In psychology, they say if you spot it, you got it. 9 times out of 10, usually the person who's calling the other person toxic is the toxic person. You know what I'm saying? So all the name calling and the manipulation, you know what I mean, through verbal jousting, I think a lot of that is toxic. And I see a lot of that in relationships these days. I'm going to go with Prototype now.
Hearing Trill's and Mr. Viral's answer, that made me think y'all the toxic ones, like what y'all just said. Man, I'm gonna piggyback. I definitely wrote down manipulation, what Trill said. I mean, what Law said, right? Manipulating your partner. at first it was manipulating your partner in the wrong way, right? Like a pimp manipulates a female to to hit the strip. That's a toxic thing, right? But I guess manipulating at all, right, is could be considered toxic. I will also go with I'm gonna just hit the the head the hit on the nail, right? The nail on the head. Verbal abuse and physical abuse. That's toxic. You know what I'm saying? Like, so not to come at y'all, but what y'all said, I don't feel is necessarily toxic. It might not be the best environment, but that don't mean it's toxic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever looked at your blood type and foods you can eat, there's unhealthy, neutral, and healthy. And I think what y'all mentioned was on the neutral side. It don't hurt you, but it's not gonna not gonna hurt you emotionally, but it's not gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? But let's be real that there's real verbal abuse, physical abuse out here. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women will y'all just gave women the condition to say this relationship is toxic and they're not really being toxic. That's why I say you guys like, oh, y'all the toxic ones, because y'all just gave them a condition to say a situation is terrible, and it's not really that. It could be something that can be worked out. But if somebody's physically or verbally abusing you, that you should run away from. That's toxic. That you shouldn't ingest. Everything else, the other situations, you can kind of like, hey, we're not on the same page or this. Those things can be worked out. But if somebody is like physically and verbally abusing you, calling you like wild names, you know what I'm saying, or manipulating you to get you to do weird stuff or sign over the will to them, like, you know what I'm saying, give me the assets, like, that's toxic. So I guess I don't think Ash went though, but go ahead, Ash.
But before you go, did anybody want to respond?
Yeah, I wanted to respond to that. I can be toxic. That's true, but you know, the ladies love the toxicity though. I ain't gonna lie. But I will say it's not just verbal and physical abuse, because that's what we automatically think. You can be the nicest guy in the world and be toxic as fuck. You can be giving her emotional support. You can be non-physically abusive, but you draining y'all bank account, you crashing y'all, you damn near leading y'all into homelessness. That's toxic as fuck. But on the outer shell, you a nice guy. She explained to you, she described you to her family, excuse me, you the nicest guy on the planet, but realistically you're leading the relationship into failure. To me, that's toxic more than a guy who might be a little verbally abusive, whatever the hell that is, because lead it up to women these days. If you speak with any type of masculinity, you're verbally abusive.
Am I a man with
any
a
type
dream?
of sternness, you're verbally abusive. If you disagree with anything women say today, you're verbally abusive. So I don't really even like that term, because we all adults. So I don't go too deep with the verbal abuse, because leave it up to women. Unless you agreeing with them 100%, you're verbally abusive as a man. So I really don't get into that. Now, the physical abuse, that's a whole nother lane. I don't respect none of that, but let's just keep it real. Women are more physically abusive than men. Women stay hitting on men in relationships. 9 times out of 10, if you want to talk about domestic abuse, it's coming from a woman. We just take it because they can't hurt us and we don't talk about it like they do. But to keep it real, like I said, it doesn't have one solid face like, oh, this is toxic. Like, oh, she just hit on you. Nah, she could be nice. She could be smiling in your face, and she could be fucking 100 dudes behind your back. But at home, she cooks, she cleans, she do everything. She makes sure your cup is full, but when she leave the house, she's sucking dick up the block. That's still toxic too. So it really don't have a face.
Trill, go ahead.
Yeah, and I just find it funny. Prototype let's start the convo, say I disagree with y'all, and then make my point for me on the back end. Because again, he got to talking about like something being toxic, like pimping and hoeing. You know what I'm saying? To be it on the stroll, but that's the same thing, right? There's a leverage difference here. A lot of those pimps prey on women whose self-esteem is low, may not have nowhere to stay, may not have no guidance, may not have no protection. I come in knowing that, and I just puppet string your ass because I'm dangling a carrot in front of you. Relationships work very, very similar, right? If I'm dealing with somebody and I come in and I know I'm lit and I know I'm this and I'm confident. And the thing about men, which we don't talk about a lot, is we can spot insecurity on a woman from a mile away easily. You know what I'm saying? Before we even have a conversation with her. And as a matter of fact, that kind of like dictates the way we're going to approach her a lot of times, if we're going to keep it G. But that's another conversation for another day. But my point is, there's a leverage difference. And if there's a leverage difference and I know it is, I'm going to use that to puppet string you, and that can definitely be detrimental more so than it would be neutral. So that's just it. But just wanted to point out, Prototype made my point for me at the end. Appreciate you, bro.
Go ahead, Prototype. What you got?
So there's times where there is leverage, right? And if I'm a good guy, generally, if you're a guy and with a woman, you generally probably have leverage because women don't mess with you unless you're better than them anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if you have leverage, so your job would just be to like nurture that, to bring her up to speed, give her some game, make sure she, you give her some tools to be a better person. It's all about using it to be better. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you are there is a leverage in that, but at the same time, she's not going to listen to you. You're not going to be able to mold her. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole job of a groom is to mold his wife. That's what a groom is. He molds his wife. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not molding her and making her better, you need leverage to even do that. If you don't have that leverage, you cannot do that. She's not going to listen to you. She's going to bite back. It's going to be a respect issue. You know what I'm saying? All the other stuff comes. So if you use it for the wrong, then yeah, that's what the pimping and the hoeing is. But if you use it for the right, you know what I'm saying? You help her push forward, get more, be better, get educated. You know what I'm saying? Be a better mom. That's what you're supposed to do with that leverage. You know what I'm saying? And that's not toxic.
All right, that's a bet.
I can tell you what's toxic. In certain situations, if you know something about somebody and you can use that to your advantage, you can actually definitely be toxic. Say, for instance, if a woman has abandonment issues, you know what I'm saying? And you know this. And, some people just can't stand to be by themselves for a while and you withdraw your presence. That's a form of manipulation. You see what I'm saying? And you can actually definitely cut off the conversation and then they'll start thinking about themselves. Another person just left me. And then psychologically, they'll start to thinking, am I good enough? So you can definitely do mental damage. And sometimes the worst scars are the ones you can't see. And most people who are master manipulators, they know this going in ahead of time. So basically, if you know somebody who has abandonment issues, you can definitely use that to your advantage. But that's the main reason why I tell a lot of women, hey man, make sure you fix whatever that is in your psyche before you get into a relationship. Because what's going to happen is you're going to latch on to anything and it's going to stop you from seeing red flags, all because you don't want to be alone. And it's not so much as that person is the person that's for you. It's the person that's there paying attention to you. You see what I'm saying? So you'll start to overlook a lot of things that you probably shouldn't because you haven't fixed that abandonment issue. And in the wrong hands, that could do a lot of damage to somebody's psyche. Really good. Go ahead, Humble Dad.
No doubt, man. That's good. Hey, we rocking and rolling. Jamie, it's on you. It's not on you.
It's on Ash.
Oh, my bad, Ash. Go ahead.
See, you done took my spot. Nobody knows that I'm last anymore.
That's
Mind your business. Mind your business. Stay in your lane, okay? Stay in your middle lane. Okay, y'all done said everything. Pretty much to me, I was gonna say it's in the eye of the beholder because everybody's definition of toxic is different. But I do agree with everybody on the panel though. You got the master manipulators, you got the master victims, especially let's just talk about the master victim. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I did.
I was gonna go there. That was gonna be my next question. Wow.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and bring it in the room. The master victim is like, oh, you don't do this for me. Oh my God. What? I don't understand why you just won't. And it's like, okay, wait. Why are you crying out of nothing? Because I saw this stuff done. I'm like, really? You falling for that dude? I'm like, you need to really realize what's going on here. She crying for no reason. And I'm like, how does this work? Because to me, I'm a genuine person. I don't wear my feelings on my sleeve. And I'm like, how you crying because he didn't do what? You broke up with him because he didn't do what? Excuse me. It's some of us out here want a decent man and you out here just throwing away like you playing, what is that? Pokemon, go out there and catch them, and release them back. But the master victim, that's who people don't give credit to. Because that woman or that man will play on every insecurity you got to keep you either below them or in a space where you feel like you can't be without them. Like that.
I just want to say amen, Ash. I just want to say amen because them master victims, they don't get talked about enough. Them
So
women
serious.
and men who play victim, they don't get talked about enough when you're talking about that toxic lane. That's more toxic than verbal, whatever you want to call it, abuse or whatever, because it get to a point where you can't criticize, you can't talk, you can't bring up an issue, nothing. They just go straight to the victimization. Oh, I'm a victim, and cry, and not a conversation over. So that's a big one. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm gonna give you some kudos and some cool points on that one.
That's
Okay,
what's up. That was
and just
literally.
one more thing. Just
Go
one
ahead.
more thing. Remember how I said a couple weeks ago my ex was trying to get back the whole ex-fiance or whatever? He was playing the victim. Oh, Ash, I hurt myself in this car. I'm like, I don't see a scar. Okay, but where's the damage? Like, if you because my thing is, I've been in a car wreck, okay? And here recently, matter of fact, when you say you've been in a car wreck, you're gonna be just a little traumatized, okay? But if you say you've been in a car wreck where you hit your head, you lost your memory. I'm sorry, I had to take a moment to laugh because I knew it was a lie. That's a victim thing. And you don't know who you're talking to, baby. I know you. I know you from jump. I studied you because I wanted to marry you. So I know right now you're in your victim lane. You're finna put all the fixings of a good old loaded mashed potato in front of my face because you know I like mashed potatoes, okay? But I'm not finna eat it because that's a lie. That celery is not real. I don't even eat that. That's cream cheese. No. Sir, there's something in that cream cheese. It's a little blue cheese. No, I'm not taking that. I'm not buying it. That's why I say people don't understand. Like, when you really want to talk about toxic, it's not always the person that's being toxic. It's that victim, that master victim that comes in and I'm dying. It ain't even died. They just got a little paper cut, you know? And it may sound harsh and it may trigger somebody, but guess what? You're probably the master victim.
Okay, I see where you at. So, like I said, that was like literally going into my next question, and I think a couple of y'all described it. Said so. I want to know because we just talked about what the toxic person looks like and is, but y'all kind of started talking about the victim. So I want to kind of give some more adjectives to describe the victim of a toxic relationship. I think Trill got me thinking about this question. So we'll start with Trill. Like, describe the the victim of a toxic relationship.
Low self-esteem, zero boundaries, feeling a constant need to prove yourself. A lot of times trauma, background full of trauma, maybe upbringing, maybe parenting, maybe people that you dealt with before. But just, the main things is just low self-esteem, lack of confidence. I think that right there just opens the door to all kind of stuff. And going back to what bro said earlier, most people would rather die. Most people would rather use a relationships to fix themselves instead of fixing themselves before they get into one. I think that's the problem. Like I said, we as men, I know I can. I can spot an insecure woman a mile away. That's why, it always be funny to me to hear certain dudes like they maybe see a little chick on Instagram or something, she fine as hell. They be like, man, I love to have it. And I just look at them and be like, you had no idea, brother. It'd be funny because they'll be the restart. They try to date her, whatever the case may be. 2 weeks in, they like, man, bro, you was right, man. She tripping, insecure. She blowing my phone up. She don't believe nothing I tell her. Da, 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 da. And it's just like, yeah, because a lot of pretty ass faces hide insecurity and hide low self esteem. So to answer the question, I think that's what a toxic victim, if you can even call it that, looks like. Then we're gonna go where I ain't went yet. We're gonna go to Jamie.
Oh yeah, Jamie, you know this one. You talk to a lot of people.
Oh yeah. But I'm only gonna add it being trained for abuse. So it really starts at home a lot of times. Is like, I'm gonna give for instance, with the lack of boundaries. So say you have a parent that doesn't communicate with you very well, and every time you do something that dissatisfies them, they stop talking to you. And then the only way that you can get the parent to talk back to you is for you to do what they ask you to do, even though you don't want to do that. Or it's like, why do I have to do it? Is there somebody else that can do it? So the manipulation starts early on. So you are programmed to be abused later on in life because you never knew how to set a boundary because your parents started you off that way. So I just kind of want to put in there being trained for abuse, because a lot of times the lack of boundaries comes from, like you can talk about your parent, but you're like, hey, I need you to feed me. I need you to act like I exist here in this space. And you haven't been talking to me for like 48 hours just because I did not do what you wanted me to. And I know that's not like I'm giving you just a scenario, but that's not everybody's story. But you can be trained to be a victim, and then you are so used to being the victim that you create these scenarios in every relationship that you're in, whether it's a relationship with a man or a friendship. You end up doing that. You end up creating this chaos because that's what you're used to, because that's what you equate to as love and as regular. So I will go with I don't think let me go with Ash, because I know she don't want to be last. Right? Did that rhyme? You like how I did that?
I'm not for your shenanigans today, baby. I'm not for, but hey, I'm gonna come on with it. Okay. Let's see, the victim. Let's see. Let's go with it. Constant need of validation. Constant need of validation. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Because when I was a QA in the call center world, I always tell people, don't look for me to validate if you're doing it right. You need to know this, because I'm not going to always be right here. And that's what I tell my kids all the time. You don't need my approval to be you. And to me, I think with victims, it's always that need. I need to prove. Like, it's going back to what Trill said earlier. I need to prove myself in this instant. And to me, I don't think people understand that. You can make yourself a victim and not knowing that somebody can see that and be like, oh, you want to prove. Okay. So how far are you willing to go? How far you want to go? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people take that as a weakness, and then they can run with it and play with it. And then they know if you're going to go to the end of the earth, they're going to push you off just to see if you will fall, just to see if you will let them push you there. Hey, we're going to go with Mr. Viral, because he look like he done built something up.
No, I'm chilling, man. As far as a victim of a toxic relationship, to not repeat what any of you have already said, I'm gonna say they're not victims. 9 times out of 10, they're volunteers. Most people, when they see the toxicity and the main things that they're complaining about, oh, he's physically abusive, or she's verbally abusive, oh, he cheats, oh, she cheats, but then they stick around to continue enduring the abuse. So at that point, you're not a victim, you're a volunteer. Just like this whole Cassie situation, everybody going crazy. Oh, Diddy did this. Did you see what he did on the tape? Yeah, but she stuck around for 10 years for that. She ain't a victim, she's a volunteer. And that's 9 times out of 10, that's most people. They become addicted to the abuse, to the point where they get in a relationship where there's no toxicity and they don't know how to react to it, and they'll sabotage it. They'll start being toxic. So 9 times out of 10, if you're in a toxic relationship, you're a volunteer. You're not a victim, because you should have left at the first sign of the toxic shit. Like, we're all adults. We all know how to read people by now. We know how to see the red flags, but we overlook the red flags. Like, oh, I could change them. Oh, I could change her. And 10 years done went by, and we done wasted 10 years of life when we knew we should have left the first week, the first month, the first 60 days. So most people are volunteers. They're not victims.
Interesting point. Hey, who you got going next?
I'm going Lost in Translation, because he be disagreeing with what we be saying. So
not this time. Not this time, Mr. Viral. Listen, I think a lot of times, man, people try to wear victimhood as a costume. You know what I'm saying? I'm explaining to you what I mean by that. Most times people only know how to work a relationship one way. You know what I'm saying? You ever been to math class and the teacher give you extra points for solving a math problem a different way? Well, guess what? And sometimes in certain situations and relationships, people only know how to work a relationship a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? Say, for instance, you get a lady who says, oh, my ex used to do this for me. You should do that too. Or, I'm used to being this way. I'm spoiled. Instead of saying, hey, look, I want to be able to be a willing, person in this relationship too. I want to be able to give to you as much as you give to me. That's foreign to them. So what they do is they create these scenarios in which they can understand how to navigate the relationship the only way that they know how. Sometimes it's through subversion. Sometimes it's through manipulation. But in 9 times out of 10, if you ever listen to the story always ends the same. He either cheated or was abusive or whatever. And I'm always asking them, well, let me ask you this. What did you provide to the relationship? You told me about all these great things that this person, did for you, but what did you do for them? Did you water them as much as they watered you? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start asking questions like that, like, hey, what did you provide to the relationship? And 9 times out of 10, it's usually nothing. You know what I mean? And then what happens is the other person winds up being starved and say, hey, look, they don't want to be the bad guy to leave because this other person is already pre-programmed to let them know, hey, if you cheat on me, it's your fault automatically, and nobody wants to be the bad guy. So what happens is these people put on the victim costume and they work the relationship the only way they know how to work it, and that's through manipulation and subversion. Let's go on Prototype.
So I just need some clarity. Are we talking about the actual victims or people that play victim?
Prototype, you've been listening to us this whole time.
I have been, but it seems like it's going off in many different ways, right? So that's why I just wanted to kind of hone in on the answer. Am I answering victim?
If you're 18, it's always whatever your perspective is.
I know this, but I just wanted some clarity. That's all, because there's 2 ways to go about it, man. So I mean, like there's people that play victim, right? And those are the people in a relationship that say like, I'm gonna kill myself if you leave me. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that be like, when you break up, that's why I burnt you. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that who do something to you, and then when you be like, all right, I'm done with it, so you never love me anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's the people that play victim, right? And that's a whole nother psychological, disadvantage they have going on. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the actual victim, man. And I'm just not on the victim blaming train. You know what I mean? Like, blaming somebody for being compassionate, oh, you shouldn't have been that compassionate. You shouldn't have been that empathetic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should want to, if I love somebody, I should want to see things through with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I love somebody, I should want to try to save you. I can't blame the person for loving somebody and wanting to save a person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if your child was addicted to drugs, you would put them in rehab and try to, pay that ticket. I can't blame you for that, for being a good, humane person. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, like there's people that play victim and they're terrible people. But for the people who are trying to be good people, I'm not blaming them for the, you know what I'm saying? Oh, because they didn't have a foresight to see that, oh, this person is really trying to manipulate the best, the most out of you, because that's not where your heart's at. So I just, that's why I need a clarification on the answer, because I'm not going to blame somebody who's trying to be a good person true. You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh, well, you should have seen it anyway. You should have seen that coming.
I think it's good that you're trying to clarify, but I think it was good for you to be able to provide both of the scenarios that you're discussing, because in one instance, as you're saying, there are some people that would prefer to be the victim because in the end it makes them look like the better person, right? And then there are some people that didn't even see that they were about to be a victim and are trying to figure out how can they get out of the situation, knowing that this person has potentially changed. Like, there was not necessarily a red flag. And everybody's been in a relationship where this is not how you were. You know what I'm saying? When we was at the beginning stages, there was probably a red flag somewhere, but I may have missed it in the honeymoon phase, possibly, right? But then all of a sudden, you literally changed the game and how we are supposed to be going about things. So that person is like, now it's like, okay, so now you're trying to control me from a physical abusive standpoint to where I am a victim now, but it's like, okay, now how do I get out of the situation? Because there are situations, and I've been, not me personally, but I grew up in those situations where the person was in an abusive relationship, but couldn't figure out how to get out of it, especially with them having kids, right? So it would take a moment to get out of that. So that's a person that's didn't see it coming type of victim, right? But then you have the person, as y'all was describing, that is like, okay, woe is me. He ain't no good. She ain't no good. You know, if it had not been for XYZ, I would have had somebody different, right? It's one of those as y'all said, the victim mentality to say that I am not as good as I could be, because as a result of you not allowing me to be what it is that I want to be, right? So that's a different level of victimhood. So I wanted to be able to allow people to see there are two sides of this victim part, and also for them to be able to identify if they are one of those, right? Because if you recognize that you are a victim, then you can begin to transition out of being that. And then if there's a person on the other side that says, oh, they're being a victim in the sense of manipulation, then let me get out of this situation. So yes, and I think Mr. Varro said as well, there are different levels to the victimhood or a toxic relationship. And so I wanted to kind of deep dive on both of them. And so I think y'all have done a really good job in that estimation. So as we transition, does anybody have anything to add to this particular topic thus far?
I think you did an excellent job describing both of them, because I think most times people are only aware of the victim that's advertised. You know what I'm saying? The true victim. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people are not aware of the chameleon victim. You know what I'm saying? And how can you tell the difference? So I think it was good that everybody gave their perspective, especially Prototype, because you still want to be sensitive to, you know, people's real needs in situations like that. So I commend them for that one.
I'll tell you what else too. I was thinking, man, I want to change my last answer as what a toxic relationship is. Like, as y'all talking, I think the ultimate toxic relationship is somebody that has a victim mentality and somebody that has a hero complex, because it's going to be a constant like dog chasing its tail type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else, so the victim mindset going to always, woe is me. I need this. I need this. I need that. Hero complex is, hey, whatever you need, I'm going to put this cape on to try to solve it. But it's like pouring water in a cup with a hole in it. You're never going to fill that void. And I think a lot of people have hero complexes, and that puts them in terrible situations. Their heart may be good, they may be genuine with the intentions, but some people are just lost causes. And I always say, like, even going into dating, going into relationships, like, your job is maintenance, not construction. But a lot of us walk into this trying to fix something or build something from scratch. I'm not going to no car dealership paying full price for a Benz that I got to put together in my garage. No. When I pay my money and we agree to this transaction, I need you functional. I need you running. I need you operating at peak efficiency. But if you're not taking the time to do that, then that's not, like, you're not going to do that on my watch. Again, I wish you the best in your journey, prayers and all of that, but I'm not fixing a damn thing. We are adults. And at some point, we got to start taking some accountability for how we showing up in these relationships. We need to show up whole instead of showing up in broken pieces and expecting that person to put us together. And as long as people approach relationships with that mindset, they're going to forever struggle. So that's just that. I was just thinking about that answer, man. Somebody with a hero complex, somebody with a victim mentality, that is the ultimate toxic relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's dope how you put that, because I just, if you look at it from that position, those two people in that relationship, they seem to be satisfying each other's need, but at the same time being detrimental to each other's growth. And this, what's crazy is that yesterday, I had put this, my wife, Kendra, shout out to her. She was the one that said I should have this topic. And not knowing that my pastor would be talking about it yesterday. I had sent this out, I don't know, Thursday or something. And our pastor started talking about toxic relationships. And one of the things that connected to what you're saying, Trill, is that people are coming into a relationship broken with the mindset of that the relationship is what's going to fix them. What he said was that God made us whole from the position that when he created Adam and Eve, they were whole individuals coming together to be in a relationship and then being able to start the journey. If you are coming into a relationship and you are not well mentally and spiritually or physically, from that matter, because we also need to be healthy individuals, what is going to happen is that there's going to be a slowdown in the productivity of your relationship, because you're going to have to each one of you or one of you are going to have to spend more time in trying to help the other person get to the wholeness of which it is that they're needed to be. Now, when I'm saying wholeness, I'm not, because people are imperfect. I'm talking about me personally, because I don't know what Trill necessarily meant, but I'll give you my perspective on wholeness. Wholeness for me would be like you have a plan, you have an agenda, you know how to get to that plan, you are on the steps to get to that plan. You may even be in counseling, trying to work on your mental fortitude to get to where you need to be. You may be on the, this, you just started this new job, but you have a financial plan and how to get to your financial freedom. You know how to manage a household. If you're a woman, you have the mindset of, I am in pursuit of Christ, even though I'm flawed, that is my pursuit. This is what it looks like for me, whether it's church, Bible study, whether it's in you have mentors, you have mentees and things of that nature. You know where you want to go and you have an idea of where you're going to be in a set amount of time. So you're blending these particular relationships together so that it takes less time to get to where you're trying to get to. I remember Trill was talking about, because this kind of speaks to that 50-50 mindset that some women have and some men have. If you both would just understand that if she's working and you're working, your financial growth potential is astronomical. And if there's an individual that says, that has the mindset of what you can do with money, y'all can literally become millionaires if that's so you desire within 3 to 5 years, right? So I'm saying that if you're talking about 50-50, that's crazy from a perspective of that you're just saying you're going to do half of something when both of y'all need to be whole to be able to make this relationship even work functionally. So I would say on the topic, if both of y'all come in 50-50, y'all already creating a toxic relationship. Right. And if you're broken coming in thinking that your relationship is going to be fixed based on that, then you're already in a toxic relationship. So as we transition, I don't know if somebody has something to add, but I think most people said no. This is where I want to go. I want to be able to know where are these toxic people found? Right. We have described okay. Because somebody coming up with them and they getting into some relationships in order for there to be a such thing as a toxic relationship. So I'm interested in knowing where are these toxic people found? And hopefully as we begin to get this answer, people that are listening, you can avoid these particular places, right? And don't say everywhere, because that's obvious. Okay. Give me a place. Okay. Now I know Ash probably gonna say on the bus. So come with a different answer, Ash. Okay. We gonna start with you though.
I was gonna go with hey, like Discover said, they everywhere you want to be. That's where I was gonna go. Okay. Okay, hold on. I don't like y'all tonight. I don't like y'all tonight. Y'all
No, you just rocking and rolling.
But okay, toxic people, where they found, wherever you're broken, wherever you're searching it. I'm gonna take it there. It's not a particular place, but it's where you're searching. Because I'll give you an example out of my own life. Went to HEB, mind you, I'm at work. I'm trying to get a little something for Thanksgiving because I'm trying to come home and cook real quick. Just put the final touch on Thanksgiving. I met what I assumed to be a nice gentleman. He wasn't dressed like no hooligan. He was dressed in nice attire, okay? But we later discovered after a couple weeks after that, baby, you got a communication problem. Like this grown man for some reason kept changing his telephone numbers. I said, you know what? Somebody going through a phone and he not supposed to be talking to me. Two, he careless with his phone. But you can always get a new phone, an actual phone, and not have to get a new number. That come from that good call center and working with the telephones. That's where it come from. And being an experienced parent with these kids breaking these phones, the number don't change, the phone change, right? So I said, you know what, let's back away from this. And I told him, I said, look, I can't deal with this. You changing your number too much. I don't know who's calling me. I'm just gonna go ahead and block all of this. Shut all this down. Because to me, it's not a particular place. I mean, I was at HEB minding my own business. I really was. But a nice man approached me instead of having that single woman, I'm a mother, that don't talk to me. I said, hey, and engage. But at the same time, it's like something wrong with some of you characters out here. And that's why I say they are found everywhere where you're broken. Because sometimes we don't want to pull back just because we want to give the person a fair chance. And I'm going to leave it at that and let Prototype over there say something.
The most toxic people I found were the ones in my family. It's some motherfuckers I'm related to. Other than that, man, and they're only they're not allowed to be toxic, but they can only get to being toxic because I'm related to them. You know what I'm saying? Anybody on the street pool with your family pool on you, you will never deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you can even see that your family's toxic. Outside of that, man, toxic situations generally come from situations where you shouldn't be at, right? Anytime it's a pay for play kind of a situation. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too vulgar, but you understand what I'm talking about. Like if you buying all the dates and she not pitching in, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's a clear manipulative situation where you can see it's not 50-50, you know what I'm saying? Or even if people you hanging out with, you know what I mean, is you buy the drinks and then they don't get the next round type, it's selfishness type stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You can kind of see it. So man, toxic situations, toxic people come from clear, I guess to go back to Trill's point, right? Clear differential situations. And I forgot what he said. Maybe he'll clear it up later. But when there's an imbalance, I think he mentioned, like, you know what I'm saying? So when there's a clear imbalance, like, oh, this person is here and I'm here, you know what I'm saying? You probably want to stay clear of that. You know what I'm saying? You can find a toxic person there for sure. So yeah, we'll go with that. Let's go with Mr. Viral.
So you want like a certain place? I'm gonna say there is no place where toxic people are. I know most people want to say, oh, the club, oh, the bar, oh, here, oh, the strip club. But in reality, toxic people attract other toxic people because you attract what you put out into the universe. So whatever frequency you're vibrating on, that's what you're going to attract. So if you're on a toxic low vibration, those are the people you're going to encounter. This is why you'll see some people like, man, why do I keep encountering the same type of guys, these same broken guys? Or why do I keep encountering these same type of women? Because it's you. It's not the women. It's not the guys. It's you. There's millions and billions of people in the world, but yet you can't figure out why you attract the same prototype. Is you. It's the energy you're putting out. It's the frequency you're vibrating on. If you ever looked at like an experiment where they have the tools to make like the frequencies, it will not react until you hit the one that's on the same frequency. So if you put a ball on this one and you hit it and this is on a different frequency, the ball won't react. It won't react until it's on the same frequency. So that's why people encounter toxic people, because you're toxic. It's something about you that's toxic, which is why you keep attracting toxic people. So don't worry about the place, worry about you, fix you, become more in tune with your inner self, figure out what's broken in you, and you won't attract these people no more. Once you're vibrating on a higher frequency people will start to be will come a part of your reality. You'll start to attract these people. You start to meet these people. You start to bump into these people, no matter where you are. So is you. I'm gonna go with Jamie. Go ahead. Talk to him.
I'm gonna give the answer of outside. You know, they are outside every. You said I couldn't say everything. I would just say outside.
I got you.
I'm being honest, and I agree with everybody. I
So
agree
you
with Mr.
said, so you
Viral.
said people just gonna avoid outside?
Just outside. You just gotta go outside. It's right. Step out. You gonna find one. They out there. They're everywhere, and that's just literally. And I do agree with Mr. Viral. Like, if you're wanting to bring somebody in your space, you do need to be at a different level, right? But if we're honest, when we go to any location, you could go to Walmart, you could go to Target, you're gonna run into somebody that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you don't have to accept they're crazy because you just ran into them at the store, or you accept they're crazy and get to know them a little bit better and realize that you don't want that in your environment. They're outside. They're outside. You know what what I was thinking about when he asked this question? He asked, what is a toxic product? And we all listed things that were toxic to like ingest, but they actually cleaned up stuff, right? So like bleach does a wonderful job cleaning bacteria. It is everything. When everything got hit the fan, everybody was like, what they looking for? Bleach. You know what I'm saying? And it did that. But if you inhale bleach, it's gonna kill you. You get what I'm saying? I always like to say is, find the type of crazy that fits you. What type of crazy can you handle? Because everybody has something, right? And that's just the truth. Even no matter how much work you can do, you're never going to be a perfect person. And you're going to be toxic to somebody. You could be a straightforward person, and that's going to be toxic to somebody. They're not going to like that, right? So outside. I was toxic earlier at the beginning of this panel, right? So it's just what it is. It's just what it is. All right. So I'm gonna go with Lost in Translation.
I'm gonna go the exact opposite direction you went. I'm gonna say inside. Okay. I'm gonna give you an example. In the movie Avengers of Ultron, Ultron gave a speech and he said, everyone creates the thing they dread. Men of peace create engines of war, invaders create avengers, and people create smaller people. I think they call them children. You know what I'm saying? And I think what happens is we create the things we fear the most. You know what I'm saying? Because of our expectations. So what happens is we put our unjustified expectations on somebody, and when they don't meet them, then they become the enemy. They become the toxic person. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't do what we want them to do. But what happens is we created that monster in our own heads. That's the reason why certain people always run into this certain same type of person. You know what I'm saying? It's the very reason why people chose the bear in the woods over the man, is because in their mind, the men were the most dangerous animal versus the actual dadgum animal. You see what I'm saying? So it is the fear that we have in ourselves that actually creates the toxicity in our own relationships. That's where you find the toxic people inside ourselves.
I was thinking that I was going to ask, do y'all believe that everybody has toxic? Like, of course, there ain't gonna be nobody on the panel, but you ain't gonna have no choice. But the answer is, do you believe that you have toxic traits?
Absolutely.
Most definitely. I told you in the beginning. They said I was the toxic one. I was like, damn, you beat me to it.
So you agree? Okay.
I agree.
I think as a man, you need toxic traits. Like, you have to have toxic traits because women love toxic. They don't like nice guys. They don't like the good guy. If you don't have no toxic in you at all, it's bad for you out here. You're going to get done dirty by a female chasing a toxic man. So you're going to be the good man giving her the world. She's going to be like, fuck you for giving me the world. And she's going to go to the guy that's giving her a little bit of hell, because that little bit of hell is excitement. You got to be a little toxic out here. I'm sorry.
I would like to interject. I do not. I tried to give a nice guy a chance, and
Your voice say you lying. What you mean?
I tried to give a nice guy a chance, and guess what, baby?
You changed your voice, Ash.
baby. Baby. All I
Cap.
can say is it was headache.
I tried to
Like
tell.
some
I'm
of them,
trying to
some
tell
of
you.
these nice guys, those are the most toxic things because
What?
they're nice men.
What?
Baby, please. Some of these nice guys, they I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. I didn't. What was it? I'm not gonna put nobody out there. I'm just saying, brother had some issues. And, yeah, like I
Ash,
what,
I'm going to interject and help me understand. You said viral is correct. Trill nodded his head yes, but you're telling me that
I
a
said
nice
some.
guy.
I said some. I didn't say all. I said some of these nice guys is a little toxic. Well,
Okay,
not little.
explain to me how the nice guy is toxic. You have just turned this page, so
I ain't turned no page. It's on the same page. It's just a fine print. Baby, some of them nice guys are toxic. And it's like who I forgot who said it earlier. They try to do the Superman thing. Oh, Trill said it. They want to be the Superman. Then they want to come in. Oh, yeah, I completely understand your emotions. Oh, this is man, that's so messed up. I want to be here for you. And then it's like, okay, you vanish. And then you come back, oh man, let me tell you what happened. Man, I had a kid. Man, she ain't doing right. Man, she acts just like you. But I wanted to be with her. It's like, okay, idiot. So what you over here for? Go back over there. Man, Ash, you cool, man. I can always count on you to be there and talk me through this. Like, dude, I don't know what's going on here, but you need to stop calling this phone. You finna get blocked in about 2.2 seconds.
so what made him a nice guy?
No, you didn't understand. The superhero, the wannabe, not the action. The talking of being the superhero. Because a lot of people love to say, oh yeah, I can do that for you. Where are you at? I mean, you're not looking for them to do anything because that's not their character. That's not their role in life, in your life. That's their role in somebody else. But everybody, some people, some nice guys like to put on that Superman outfit and put it on knowing they ain't got the muscles or the strength for it. I'm just saying what I've encountered. I don't know how many other people can agree, but some of these nice guys, them screws is looser than mine. I ain't gonna even lie to you because I just be trying to understand like, why would you go date somebody that's like me, but then come back to me to help you through? And I said I'm done. I'm out. Baby, hey, I get the cussing and everything. Hey, I'm out. I get that deep voice on. I get the angry woman syndrome going. This is not happening. I'm just saying.
I appreciate you so much.
And like I said, I'm not saying all nice guys are like this, but I have encountered. That's why I say I am toxic. There is some toxic things that I have been working on and trying to fix. But they out there, they exist. Like I said, they discover code everywhere you want to be and everywhere where you're broken. I stand by that.
Okay. So Jamie, you was gonna say something. What were you gonna say?
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just saying that reality is everybody
Wait. You do that every time.
I know. I said I wasn't gonna say anything, and then I had something to say. Right?
I love what.
Just say it. Just say it. Right? Just say it. All right. I'm about to just say it. Everybody's toxic. Everybody has toxic traits, and I'm gonna be honest. There's some things that I have toxic that I don't even want to let go. I kind of like it. I kind of like a little crazy. I like a little. My mom's foreign. I just kind of like a little saucy. Like a little sass in there. And so there's just certain things about me that I don't want to change. And that's just real. So I got to find somebody that likes my type of crazy. And I'm okay with that. That's it.
That's why you made that statement.
Yeah, because I be trying to think like, should I not say that or should I say that? I just kind of overthink a lot.
Yeah. So there's a level of crazy that you have that you're looking for that dude that's like, I like that level of crazy.
Well, right, because my mom's foreign, what I'm saying? I come from a foreign background. And so, I may speak Spanish every now and then to you, and you might not like it because I might be upset when I do it, but I need somebody that thinks that that's cute. Like I need somebody to think that like, like, I don't know what she said to me, but I'm okay with that. Like, I need you to be okay with that.
I got you. What you got, Prototype, is do you believe that all of us are toxic?
I believe that toxic people create other toxic people, and they respond like where you're not toxic, but then you respond a certain way, like you keep running into toxic people, and then it creates you to be toxic. That's why I made the comment about arranged marriage in my sons, man, because I have pretty good sons, like wholesome, good gentlemen, sweet, like, you know what I'm saying? And putting them out into the dating market, yo, I don't want them to be assholes for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at this crossroads where, like, I either got to teach them to be a savage. I know too well what that's about. Or I could arrange marriage them, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully, like, oh, I raised my kid. I know another family that's raised their kids the level that I raised my kids, who we can all see each other as family and merge that. I'm at a weird crossroads right now. I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, man. Is I don't want my sons to go through what I went through, like, you know what I'm saying, or to be the guy I had to become. Like, you know, I don't want that. So I don't know. I think it's I think people become toxic because they deal with toxicity. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's like all people are toxic coming out the gate. You know, I just,
not that they all are toxic, but they have a level of toxicity in them. That's what I'm asking.
I mean, like I think somebody pours the toxic into them, the toxic level into them. They deal with a situation and somebody pouring into, here's some toxicity, and then they deal with something else, and here's some more. So yeah, that's the level. The level is gauged by how much they've dealt with. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say it like that.
That's a bad Trill. What you got?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you know, a certain level of toxicity is just necessary, man. And maybe not so much that people pour it in them, but I think people want to be successful. And a lot of times being successful in a multitude of aspects of life is gonna require that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like certain people who may grow up in rough environments. He might have grew up a good dude, you know, raised right. But then he go outside, and then for me to be successful out here, I gotta attract certain toxic traits. You know what I'm saying? Now this man who was once a straight A student done shot 3 people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what was required. Same thing with dating. I think a lot of times our parents raise us with the best intentions. They give us dating advice based on ideal situations, or dating advice based on the 35 to 40-year-old person's purview. And then we go outside trying to use those tools and fall flat on our face, because that's not what's going to make you successful out there. Again, this shit is all leverage. All of it is, from the top of the relationship to the end of it. And unfortunately, just like bro said earlier, viral, women like that. They do. Because again, as a guy, I'm sure every guy on this panel has been the same way. Your mama gave you advice on how to handle women, right? Yeah, hey, you want to be a one woman man. You want to be considerate. You want to, prioritize her. You want to, like, not talk to nobody else when you're dealing with her. And all these things that you go out there and try to be that perfect gentleman, and she look right over your ass for that athlete that got six girls, or that drug dealer in the neighborhood who pulling up in the whip or whatever, and he didn't hit 15 girls in the school or whatever. But he's that guy. She wants to feel that. She wants to taste that bit of excitement. And unfortunately, a lot of times, if you don't adapt, then you're gonna have to wait to catch that woman on the clearance rack after she done already been damaged, and she done already been kind of ran through and by these guys, toyed with and spit out. And now you get the opportunity to come in there and pick up the pieces. So it's either you adapt or you purchase her off of the clearance rack later on once she's been damaged. But that is the reality that a lot of us face. And we could tie it to a certain type of woman. Nah, it's all type of women. I know women who fathers is pastors, grew up in the church, but she still want that street dude. She still want that guy that's toxic, that guy that's not that available. That guy that got 3 or 4 different women. I got a little roster or whatever, and I do. And you still want to rock with me. So again, I think we all do. And unfortunately, it's necessary for you to be successful out here, or it's gonna be rough for you, bro. Straight up.
Wow. Is there anybody that wanted to say something that hasn't said something about this? Go ahead,
Yeah, I want to go, man. Most of the times we don't want to be toxic, but we still want to be able to draw from the toxic well when we need to, especially when we're enforcing boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people will try to use you if you don't set up a boundary. And sometimes you have to draw from that toxicity and say, hey, look, I'm not cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you why. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to be you got to be able to do that. You know, because people will try to use you. But the thing about it is, like I said earlier, man, we create the things we feel the most. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason why I walk with a swag. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody handed my heart to me a long time ago. And you know what? I appreciate it too, because I'm a better man for it. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of guys reach deep down inside and say, yeah, I appreciate a little bit of that toxicity. You know what I mean? But never again. And I think a lot of guys draw from that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes some women draw from that too. That's the reason why that independent don't need no man come from, because somebody mistreated her, you know? And that's where that comes from. So sometimes that toxicity is there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's there to protect you, to keep from, you know, creating a cycle, the Superman complex. You know what I'm saying? Superman, you know, provides a savior to the ones who need to be saved. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes those saviors need somebody to provide somebody to save them. You see what I'm saying? So it's a never ending cycle, but sometimes, you know, you got to be like, hey, look, I'm tired of saving you. You know, I'm going to teach you how to be a superhero so you can save yourself. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the superhero need to put down his cape and be like, hey, look, you don't have to save the world all the time. Sometimes somebody need to save you from yourself. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times that toxicity comes in handy. But for the most part, we really don't want to do that. But sometimes people push our buttons. And I think that's where we draw from the well from time to time.
That's what's up. That's good. This is going to be the last question. Let's see. The question that I wanted to know, since basically y'all saying that everybody has a level of toxicity, except Prototype is saying to some degree there may be. So with that being said, let's see, what is it? How can toxic relationships be redeemed? How can a toxic relationship be redeemed? Who want to go first?
I don't think it is no redeeming. I mean, the only way to redeem it is for that person, whoever the toxic person is to fix themselves. That's literally the only way. Like you can't fix a toxic relationship and the person still has the toxic trait that is ruining the relationship. The person has to fix themselves. Like the relationship is never going to be repaired. It doesn't matter how much therapy sessions you go to, how much talking you do, how much writing in your journal you do. If you don't dig deep within and fix yourself as a person, it's just going to be the same thing over and over. Rinse, cycle, repeat. So the only way to redeem a toxic relationship is for the toxic person to fix themselves. And it depends on what level of toxic you went to, because some lines that get crossed, it ain't no crossing back. I don't give a fuck how much therapy you went to, how much forgiveness you got. Yeah, I forgive you, but take your ass over there. This shit over with. It ain't no coming back. So it really depends, because I'm a firm believer in everything can't be repaired. I don't give a damn what society tell you. Oh, you know, forgive them for yourself. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna forgive them from over here across the street. Take your ass over there somewhere. So it really just depends. But to sum it all up, fix yourself. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to fix them. Don't try to fix your partner. Your partner has to go on that journey themselves. You know what I'm saying? You be the best person you can be, and they be the best person that they can be, and then the relationship will be the best that it can be. But if you're spending all your time trying to repair this broken person, now you're taking away from yourself. You're tearing yourself down in the process, and the relationship is already fucked up. So now you had one fucked up person, and now you got two, and the relationship is just turmoil. So fix yourself, people. Be the best person that you can possibly be, mind, body, and soul.
That's a bet. Go Trey. I saw you.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say distance is the only way that could be redeemed. Just like bro said, you know, I can't rehab off drugs living in a dope house. It's impossible. You know what I'm saying? You got all the willpower in the world, but that has left a mark on me, or that has a new hold on me now, and it's gonna take distance and time a lot of times. But during that time, the toxic people or whatever doing the work that's necessary for them to no longer be toxic. But if they're in that relationship, the way that relationship starts 9 times out of 10 is going to be the way it ends. That's how I always see it. In terms of like what we done brought to it, our mindset. Because again, like once I have you pegged, or once I put you in a certain box in my head, it's damn near impossible for me to see you another way. Meaning that if you came into this thing insecure, or you came into this thing broken, or you came into this thing letting me have my way or do whatever it is that I want, I'm not going to just all of a sudden snap a finger and now I see each other as equal, or I see each other as like we got the same amount of leverage, or I have a newfound respect for you based on no. I'm always keep you in that box until some time and some distance comes in between, and now I'm doing work or whatever, and now I see you elevating. Now it's just like, okay, yeah, this person is different than who I used to be with, but you can't elevate if we still within the same relationship. So yeah, that's my answer, man. Distance and time is the only way that it can be redeemed, if it can be redeemed. Because a lot of times you get a distance of time, y'all get back together and the shit crash and burn again because it just wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. Lost. I see you. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I like what Mr. Viral said. He said that self-awareness is key. You know, so you got to know you're messing up. You know what I'm saying? You got to know that the other person's messing up. I like what Trill said. Trill said sometimes you need to have a little space, a little distance. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that you know, find out who you are again, because sometimes people will gaslight you and having you thinking you the one crazy. You know what I'm saying? My thing is this: conflict resolution, especially when you come back together, man, making sure that you guys handle crucial situations with a mindset to resolve the issue and not to win arguments or demean one another. You know what I'm saying? You ever get into a situation with somebody and you say, hey, look, here's my problem. And all of a sudden they take it and twist it and flip it and reverse it. You know what I'm saying? Say, I got a problem with you. Well, I got a problem with you too. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them addressing exactly what you got on the table, they take it, redirect it and deflect it, you know what I'm saying? And turn it into something that you're supposed to be doing. That doesn't create an atmosphere for trust. You know what I'm saying? Because if every time I bring up something, you bring up something that I did, then we never really get resolved what I need to have resolved first. You see what I'm saying? So that means that lets me know that you're not really eager to help in this particular situation, or you want to resolve it. So I would say conflict resolution skills is one of those things that we really need to work on, and stop looking to push the blame or name call or demean the other person when it comes down to it.
That's what's up. Did anybody want to add to this? Ladies.
Okay, I said walk away. Just give up on it. Don't do it. Because and this is from personal experience, what I found is what you know or what you learn, you can come back and use that to hurt. And that's a part of being toxic. You know, because some people will walk away from you after they done hurt you and they done gave you some time. They see you done elevated, you done healed a little bit, you done grew, you done did whatever transformation that they feel that you've done. They come back in with an old playbook and pull out some plays that you thought was healed or you thought you could move forward from, and use that same play and put you right back where you was. Like Trill said, back in that box. Like, it's hard to, and I'm gonna say this from being a single parent, it's hard to get out of a box. And once somebody's hurt you and you have not really done the work to heal, you can't move on with that person. That's why I say just walk away from it. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna always question that person motive. And a lot of people don't talk about those questions that come in hand. It's not that the person may be doing everything right, but you're going to have a question mark in the back of your mind, and you're gonna look at that person funny. So to me, it's not worth trying to redeem. You need to walk away. Go build with somebody else. Go start fresh with somebody else. Just take the relationship as it was. Don't relive nothing, because at the end of the day, if they wanted you at that time, the way I look at it now, because like I said, I grew about two centimeters, not that much. But the way I look at it now, if they wanted you then, they would have did everything possible then to try to work it to keep it better. Try to at least be accommodating. Because sometimes people only want you when they think you're better. Then they want to come enjoy the ride. No, you can't get on the ride. You should have been on the ride when we was doing maintenance. You can't come over here with that. You can't get that.
Jamie, what you got? Oh, Prototype, go ahead. I see you.
So I got some homeboys that's trying to redeem their relationship. Toxic ass dudes. But you know what I'm saying? But in them trying to redeem the relationship, man, like I said, toxic people pour into that person that's not toxic, their toxicity. And after you come to your peace and like, oh, I don't want to be toxic anymore and I just want to make things right. Now that person you poured that toxicity into, they're getting you back. It's all payback now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, it's all well and good that you done had to change your heart and you done did this and did this, but it's my turn now. So now's the redemption process of trying to, now you got to take the medicine that you dished out, and it's coming back differently, because just because you're toxic into another person, it's still going to come out a different way, because that person is going to resemble it however they resemble it. And that's just how women are a mirror. You know what I'm saying? So you did this to her and that to her, and now you're over this. And now you just want your family back. You just want to do good and right by your family. But she's like, no, wait 1 second, brother. You remember that one time? Oh yeah, now I got to step out. Remember you didn't come home? You didn't come home? No, I'm not coming home. You know what I'm saying? And now it's hurting you more because you're like, I'm trying to do what's right for the family. And they're like, oh, well and good, but it's my turn. So redemption's a hell of a process, man. If it can be redeemed, maybe. You know what I mean? Good luck. If you could take it out like you gave it, then maybe. But I mean, is the best thing for you to do is heal and walk away? Probably. That's the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? But when you're a man who, let's keep it 100, because the only thing you stand for is your family, your legacy, right? You probably done got this chick pregnant or whatever. So now you're trying to get this together, and you're going through you're willing to go through some punishment. You understand it. So you're doing it for the kids, but we all know doing it for the kids ain't the right way to do it. You know what I mean? So is it redeemable? I haven't really seen it done. I've seen the effort put into it, but I really haven't seen it done. So I'm not gonna say never, but I don't know.
All right. We have to talk about your statement at another time, what you said, prototype. Jamie, what you got?
I'm gonna just say, like, prototype, I've never really seen it done. Like, I've heard people say that they been through it and they came out better friends after the conflict. And I would hope that, but I'll give a friendship situation. I had a friend do me dirty, right? And I block people. So she had to find a way to contact me. So she called me and she was like, don't hang up. I'm sorry. But she was like, can we meet? Can we talk? So what I did, I was like, all right, cool, we can talk. So I wrote down everything. I wrote down from the point where I could see the friendship changed, right? And I was like, okay, well, maybe I did this, maybe she did this, whatever. So we sat down, and literally everything I wrote down in this notebook, she confirmed, right? So she even told me where she switched up on me, okay? So I was like, all right, we can start fresh, right? She apologized. I'm thinking we on the same page, and we not friends now. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't even a month later, she put me in a situation where I was like, like, this was not a situation that you put somebody in. Like, what you just did was not okay. You told me that these people don't like me, and then I get invited somewhere, and these very same people that don't like me are right at the table with me. You get what I'm saying? So that was a hard situation to grasp, is that sometimes people do come back, like Ash said, just to finish you off in a little bit. Like, they were just like, I wasn't quite done with hurting you. You know what I'm saying? You look like you're doing good, and I just want to see why you're doing so good. You know what I'm saying? And that's, so I've never seen it. I don't know if a toxic relationship can be redeemed. I always say this: if God don't come to me in my dreams and tell me to be your friend again, it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I just want to point out,
the Lord got to come down.
I just want to point out, both the women on the panel immediately said to quit. Now, when you look at relationships today, women file 80% of the divorces, 90% when they're educated. Most of the problems in relationships can be hashed out if the adults would sit down like adults and really talk about what the issues are and work on them. But women have this delusion today that their options are unlimited, so they're unwilling to, one, take accountability, and unwilling to work on things. It seems like, and just two women on the panel low key confirmed it. Like, oh, first sign of toxic, I'm out of here. Or first problem, I'm
No,
out
I
of here.
didn't say
I
I
block
didn't
people.
say
I do
that.
this, I do that. It's like, damn, you ain't even gonna give it time to talk. Like, hey, this might be a misunderstanding. Before
No,
I
no, no, no,
block
no.
you, this is how I feel. How do you feel?
No,
Oh, well, damn,
I didn't say that. But I didn't say that.
Tend to run away from their problems, where men typically we like to address them head on. Like, hey, there might be some type of misunderstanding going on here.
Go ahead,
No.
Jimmy.
That's what I'm hearing.
I'm sorry. I never said that I didn't give her a chance. There were several chances given, right? And so when I said the relationship was done, it's done. You crossed me 1, twice, 3, 4 times, maybe even 5, right? And did me dirty. And so even me saying yes to the conversation, that's why I came with the notebook. I came with conflict resolution. Like, okay, well, we could really move forward with this. And then you put me in a situation with people that you told me at the conflict resolution that we had don't like me, right? And so what does that tell me? That tells me that you don't value me as a person. Like, you would put me in danger, and you don't have my back. And so if a man does that, if a man, okay, we'll say, for instance, is a relationship and he's cheating on you, he's putting your life in danger. He's putting your life in danger and his life in danger. He don't respect you, and he doesn't respect himself, right? So why would I stay?
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what's cheating though. I want the depth. Like, what's cheating? What are we talking about?
Like, if he has sex, we'll say if he has intercourse with somebody, we're
Okay,
gonna like if he does that.
What man on this planet ain't gonna do that at some point? That's nothing to leave your relationship for. If you got a good man, take care of home, taking care of kids, providing, where are you going?
I am taken aback.
You're gonna leave the good guy. Look,
like,
you're gonna leave the good guy who would lay his life down on the line for you to go be single and jump in another man's roster who's doing the same thing anyway, except he fucking more women than the man you had.
You know what?
What sister that?
That's why I said the fear of the Lord. Because if you don't got the fear of the Lord, then you're gonna be out here being a ho, just giving out donations to everybody. But if you know that God is gonna get you for being a hoe, and your life is gonna be leading to destruction, then you are responsible to the Lord. And you won't cheat because of me. You'll just not cheat because you're scared of God. The fear of the Lord. You're not scared of God. That's why you did this like this.
No, I'm saying in the Bible, men had multiple wives. Matter of fact, all the men in the Bible who had multiple wives,
and that's fine that you say that, but they all led their lives.
They fell out of favor with God.
Every last one of them were led to destruction. Every last one of them did not die a good life. So because they could not control their loins, their legacy at the end of it was, oh, he was a murderer. He's murdered his homeboys to get with the wife. Oh, he was a whore. You get what I'm saying? And you can listen to what he said. He's at the end of his life, he tells you don't do it because he lost favor with God. He could have lived longer, but because he could not control his loins, he lost everything. So I'm going to say it again. They did not fear God after a while. When you have multiple women and multiple women and multiple women, you are serving other gods. You are living in polygamy. That's a form of polygamy. That's your problem. Close your legs. You know what I'm saying? Hold yourself together. You know what I'm saying? And don't do that. That's why I say
monogamy is not natural, right? God created
it's natural. It's natural if you want it to be. If you want it to be, if you're scared of God, if you're scared, I want you to be scared of God. I'm scared because out here the streets is scary.
God told us to be fruitful and spread our seeds. Why would I be afraid?
Not spread diseases though, not STDs, and that's what's happening. Ain't nobody spreading no seeds. They spreading STDs, and I don't got that to do.
That's what they made condoms for. I don't got that to do in Jesus' name. No, sir. 99.9.
It's not safe out here. You gotta have a good fear of the Lord. If you don't know him, that's fine. But if you don't, you're putting yourself out here to die. It says the wages of sin are death. That means you are leading yourself straight to death.
Okay, let me ask you this, Jamie. I don't want to take over the panel. I just want to ask you this. Why do y'all only care about everything you preaching? Y'all only care about this once y'all get the title of wifey or girlfriend. When you're casually dating and you know he has a roster for a fact, You don't give a damn because you don't have the title and you don't have the ego of, oh, I'm his woman and I better be his only woman. When y'all are casually dating and having casual sex and going on dates and whatnot, you don't care who else he talking to until you get the title. Then y'all get the title and the ego kick in, and now, oh, you better be monogamous. I wasn't monogamous for the first 6 months. We were casually dating.
I can't speak on that.
You want to be polygamous?
No, sir. I can't speak on that. There's not been a dude that I hadn't dated that hadn't shut down the operation before even asking me to be with them, and that's real. No, I'm not lying. And I thought that wasn't true until I went through the messages and saw him cutting people off before he even asked me out, and that's real. So I'm not saying that he didn't do it afterwards or before, but there was a level of respect prior to, where he knew like, oh, I'm not gonna play with her, and that's just have to be what it is. But I don't know why women. I don't find it appealing when a man has a bunch of women, because that's drama, and drama stops my money. Because what I do, I would have problems with that type of situation. I do hair, and if my man is a hoe, usually these women are going to find a way to book an appointment with me and I wouldn't know, right? So I could be styling the woman who he's cheating on me with. You get what I'm saying? So like that puts me in a bad position. Like that's real. And so I wouldn't, I'm not okay with that. I'm with a man who is whole within himself and doesn't have to lay up with a whole bunch of women or talk to a whole bunch of women. If you got that much time on your hands, what are you doing? What goals do you have anyways? Why are you able to text all these females in the first place? I don't even do that. I don't got time to talk to you. I want to be able to be financially stable. I want legacy. I want land. I want things. And that does not concise with me or coexist with me being like this all the time. That's too much.
You know, the men who are the most financially stable and who have land and all of this have the most options. They have the most women. They have the most
time on their hands. I'm not.
Are you not looking at society like
Let me do this real quick. Let me do this real quick, Jamie.
I am looking at society.
Go ahead, humble God.
Check this out. What is going on is that y'all are missing each other to a degree, right? Like Jamie did literally say about the situation as far as the relationship with the she did say that she gave her an opportunity. Matter of fact, she came to the table to reconcile. Trill, he was the one. He's not a woman, but he did say walk away. So it wasn't just the women that said walk away. Am I right, Trill? Didn't you say? Right. So I think you already had a preconceived idea of what that was going to be said, because Trill and Ash said walk away, while Jamie gave a literal example of her trying to reconcile, which is what Lost in Translation said to do, which was to reconcile. Right. So I think that was a part of that conversation. And also I think it's important for people not to get the Bible misconstrued. I think most people that talk about it don't really study it. You know what I'm saying? They may say what they think it is, but they're not studying it. I mean, when Jamie said as it relates to the destruction of mankind, I mean, if you talk about David, his heart was after God, but he had a repentant heart, is what that particular scripture was talking about. But if you look at what happened in his family, there was total chaos. I mean, his son assaulted his own sister. Then his own son killed his other son. Then his same son wanted to X him out. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of destruction in that situation as a result of him literally trying to cover up him committing adultery, if you will, even though he had concubines. Because at that time in the Bible, their culture was that, and it typically was only men that could do it resourcefully. So that's not the confines of where we live in the United States. Now, if you want to have that opportunity, then you would have to assign yourself to a different demographics in the world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. So nevertheless, this has been real. This has been dope. I think because I always like to get y'all out, but I want y'all to also be able to have y'all conversation. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to come to a rescue or anything like that. What I was trying to do is bring clarity to both parties. Make sure you check out Trill. Tell us where they can find you, bro.
Oh man, Crew Season, man, everywhere. That's KREWSEASON. Also tonight's conversation podcast. For everybody in Philly, we're gonna be at the Roost Picnic this weekend, going crazy. So make sure y'all tap into that. Come check us out, and yeah, man, I appreciate everybody. Me personally, DTrillAC on Instagram and Twitter. Those two is where I'll be at. But yeah, as far as the content, man, Crew Season everywhere. Appreciate you, bro. Love always. You know that.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, don't forget to with Trill, don't y'all have the app as well? Or is that still rocking?
Yeah, for sure. Crew Season app, man. It's everywhere. Apple, Android, Fire Stick TV, Apple TV, Roku, anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all tap into that for all exclusive content, all of the pods, all the Battle of the Sexes, which we about to get started back doing again. And live streams. We'll be back soon. So make sure y'all tap in, man.
That's a bet. Lost on you.
You can find me here on YouTube, Lost in Translation Podcast, also on TikTok. Thank you for my TikTok folks who follow me over the night. Also on Instagram as well, too. And don't follow me on Facebook. You leave me alone. That's the only place I can rest. So y'all come hang out with me on YouTube. Thank you, Humble Dad.
Absolutely. Prototype on you.
Man, you can find us Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Prototype Kingdom, man. We got some good content over there, man. Check us out.
Ash.
You can find me on Instagram, IG 360.diva, where I do the most cooking. That is cooking, because that's all I'm gonna do now.
Mr. Viral.
Y'all can find me on YouTube at the Viral Way Podcast. You can find us on Instagram. I put the Instagram right there under my name, at the Viral Way Podcast. It has my personal Instagram and the crew's personal Instagram on there. But yeah, best podcast in the world, bar none. Make sure y'all tap in. We going viral the Viral Way, man. The villain.
Appreciate you being here. Jamie, on you.
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Jamie Radiance Moorhead, because I'm your favorite Christian life coach. And that's it.
That's what's up. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.